Thanks once again for dropping by the channel. If you like the content, if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe, share the video if you enjoyed it, if you felt it was useful. Now let's get into this. So Frampton stops Darren Traynor, I believe his name is, in 7 rounds. Fairly one-sided, very slow pace by Frampton this fight. This was the only fight on the card that I said I'd cover. This card in a nutshell, man, this was bad. I mean, this was a very bad card. You know, really, this is one of the worst cards I've seen in a while. And the only fight I was really interested in was just to see how Frampton looked. You know, being out of the ring since November, coming off hand surgery, just to kind of see how he looked really against Darren Traynor. Darren Traynor, I think when I originally heard he was named, I had a look at him and I thought this is an area level fighter. He's maybe slightly above area level, maybe British level. Which, you know, it doesn't say a lot, to be honest with you, but he was game for the first couple of rounds anyway. He was game, he was trying. Frampton showed that he was leagues ahead of Darren Traynor. You know, he did, just by the movement, just by his patience. But the performance Frampton gave, Jamal Heron, I'm assuming, was watching this fight. Jamal Heron, Frampton, provided Jamal Heron gets through, I think it's a Jonathan Kendo, he's fighting in September. There's a deal in place for them two to meet possibly in November. Now, obviously, Jamal Heron has to win his fight, but Jamal Heron, if I was him watching how Frampton looked in this fight, I wouldn't be too worried about facing Frampton. You know, in fact, I'd be jumping at the chance to face Frampton. Truth be told, Frampton, I got the impression that Frampton was just waiting for his moment, because he just seemed to just be in first gear the whole way through. You know, he was the better fighter. You know, he was boxing well. Traynor actually had a little bit of success when he was on the back foot. You know, when he was going forward, he was getting countered. But when he was actually on the back foot, you know, he was catching Frampton here and there with little shots. You know, they were nothing major. But Frampton, again, he was just very, very cagey. I was going to say patient, but cagey more so. Like, he just, maybe it was the ring rust, maybe it was the hand injuries. I don't know. But he got rid of Traynor in the 7th round. I really do think he could have got rid of him a hell of a lot earlier than he did, if he just decided to step on the gas a bit. As I said, there's moments in this fight where he didn't look particularly good, and, you know, he did have to take a lot of weight off. By his own admission, he gained a lot of weight during lockdown. But even still, like, he's done that before, and he's not looked as just... He just looked off. That's the best way I describe Frampton. He just looked... Even though he's winning comfortably, you just got the impression that if this was someone who was maybe a level above Darren Traynor, or maybe 2 levels above Darren Traynor, and there were Frampton, and that was the Frampton who turned up, he'd be in for a tough night. You know, he'd be in for some problems. So Frampton, you know, he did what he did. He landed some good body shots. It was a body shot. It was actually a sickener body shot in the 6th round that put Traynor down for the first time. I was actually surprised he got up. He went down face down. I was actually quite surprised that he actually got up from that body shot. He got up. He fought on, no, actually, I think it was the end of the round. He fought on a bit in the 7th round, but another body shot went in from Frampton, and he didn't even go down. He was just like, the referee, that's enough. And the referee just waved it off, and that was all she wrote. Frampton, his jab looked alright. You know, he was, I don't know, he to me, he just didn't seem sharp. That's the best way I describe it. Like, he just didn't look at his sharpest in there. I know a lot of the times when you're fighting an opponent of this magnitude, you know, maybe the sharpness isn't going to be there, maybe the motivation is not going to be there. When you bring it up a level or two with Jamal Heron, obviously different story. But no, the Frampton I've seen tonight, I don't think he'd be striking fear into Jamal Heron, not to say the least. Frampton, Jamal Heron, this fight was originally, what was it, meant to happen in June if everything had been normal. I mean, I would have picked Jamal Heron still if this fight happened back then. You know, I think Heron will win the 100%. Heron's been improving since he moved down to super featherweight. He's very big for the weight. Frampton moving up. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe Frampton, he's not the fighter he was a couple of years ago, and I just wonder, is the sharpness still there? Is he? I know he's only 33, but he's had a long career. Is he on the decline now? Is he really starting to go on the decline, Frampton? I don't know. This fight didn't tell us much. Like I said, when he finally did go through the gears, you know, he got Traynor out of there fairly quickly. So, you know, it has to be said. I'm assuming he won't be as cagey or patient against Jamal Heron. He'd be trying to make a statement with him. So, you know, who knows? The card was, boy, I mean, this was a tough card to watch. I mean, the fights weren't great. The Troy Williams fight wasn't actually too bad. Troy Williams versus Harry Scarf wasn't too bad. Mike Conlon, I mean, I can't sit through one of his fights. He's just such a boring fighter. The only interesting thing was the amount of low blows he threw. But Conlon was on this card. Archie Sharp did his thing. But this was, compared to last night's card, where I was like intrigued with every fight, this was just this was the opposite. this was bad. So, you know, those are my thoughts on this. Let me know yours down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe. Of course, if you were new, let me know your thoughts on Frampton Heron. Who do you have in that fight, if and when it takes place? And as always, people, hope you enjoyed it. I will talk to you.